Welcome back to Open Verse Plus, where we bring you immersive narrations from the world of cultivation and beyond. If you enjoy our storytelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Your support gives our team the motivation to keep creating more epic episodes for you. Now then, let's dive back into the story. In the previous episode, WANG LIN had just reached the Ascendant stage after 10 years of secluded cultivation. But his enlightenment was interrupted by a mysterious black vortex that appeared out of nowhere, a rift in the heavens from which an armored bone arm emerged. It carried a sinister power known as the Heavenly Demon Wind, a force that could rip the origin soul from a cultivator's body. Though caught off guard, WANG LIN resisted the attack through sheer will and his heart of slaughter, forcing his origin soul back into his body and escaping the deadly encounter. Yet, the entity behind the arm, hidden within the black tower of the ancient battleground, vowed to claim WANG LIN's origin energy. As the pursuit continued, the vortex appeared again and again, until it cornered WANG LIN within a plane surrounded by powerful restrictions. There, among thousands of strange purple fruits known as celestial ascension fruits, the next stage of this deadly confrontation began. The story continues. The celestial ascension fruit was not a rare treasure in the cultivation world, uncommon. Yes, but not impossible to find. On planet Suzaku, one could still obtain it with enough effort. These fruits, small and purple, about the size of a baby's fist, emitted a strange, intoxicating fragrance. To mortals, eating one brought immense pleasure and an addictive euphoria so powerful that they would lose themselves in it. Cultivators, however, were far more resistant, though some indulged in the fruits simply for that fleeting ecstasy, an illusion of becoming celestial beings themselves. On the vast plain before WANG LIN, countless celestial ascension fruits grew in abundance, stretching endlessly as far as the eye could see. Yet WANG LIN had no interest in them. His focus was fixed on the danger that had arrived, an armored black bone arm that had just broken through the restrictions, releasing waves of demonic spiritual energy. Cold light flashed in WANG LIN's eyes. With a calm motion, he reached into his bag of holding and drew out the celestial sword. Shu Leguo, the spirit sealed within, immediately roared to life. Ever since his failed rebellion, Shu Leguo had lived in constant fear of WANG LIN, always looking for a chance to redeem himself. Now, sensing the tension in the air, he resolved to prove his worth once more. The celestial sword sang with a low, resonant hum, but its song was no longer pure. It carried a twisted, almost mocking tone. The bone arm lunged at WANG LIN again, bringing with it the eerie breeze of the Heavenly Demon Wind. But WANG LIN was ready. His eyes turned sharp and his heart of slaughter surged to life. With a powerful swing, he unleashed a wave of sword energy that tore through the air. The celestial sword transformed into a dragon-shaped streak of light under Shu Leguo's control and charged toward the arm. The bone arm showed no fear. It reached out, intending to grab the sword. The moment it made contact, however, a violent sizzling sound erupted, as though cold ice had met red-hot metal. Shu Leguo laughed triumphantly, until demonic spiritual energy burst from the arm's wristguard and poured into the sword. His joy turned to panic as he struggled to break free, but the arm's grip was unyielding. WANG LIN's eyes glinted coldly. He lifted his right finger and whispered, "Demonic finger." This time, he didn't use his celestial energy but instead drew upon the surrounding demonic energy itself. His ascendant-level cultivation allowed him to manipulate the forces of heaven and earth freely. The demonic aura spiraled toward his fingertip, forming a dark vortex. Soon, a single ray of black light appeared, dense, heavy, and consuming even the light around it. With a flick of his finger, that beam shot forth. It struck the bone arm instantly, followed by a thunderous crack. The arm shattered, scattering into fragments. Shu Leguo quickly regained control and pulled the sword back. But it wasn't over. The shattered arms remained spread into a massive black halo, 10,000 feet across, filling the air with dense demonic energy. Symbols on the wristguard flared, and a haunting bell-like sound echoed through the void. The sound was not merely noise, it was a spiritual attack, far stronger than the Heavenly Demon Wind. Even WANG LIN's slaughter heart began to waver. He shot upward into the air, forming a seal with his hand before slamming his palm down onto the wrist guard. Instantly, a surge of demonic flame erupted. From within it, a shadow emerged, a single horned, black figure that laughed wildly with mocking eyes. The laughter shook Wang Lin's origin soul, threatening to pull it out of his body. Wang Lin didn't retreat, he pressed down harder, forcing his celestial energy into the wrist guard. The black shadow's laughter grew louder and more violent. His origin soul trembled on the verge of breaking free from his body. And even his slaughter heart began to crack. But Wang Lin's will was iron. He bit the tip of his tongue, blood filling his mouth, and pushed forward, forcing his celestial power into the wrist guard. The laughter suddenly ceased, and the shadow vanished, only to surge into Wang Lin's body. Now the demonic energy raged within him, attacking his meridians, flooding his mind with illusions. His origin soul trembled under the onslaught of confusion and madness. Gritting his teeth, Wang Lin looked around the endless plain of celestial ascension fruits. With a powerful wave of his hand, 10,000 fruits were ripped from their branches, rising into the air like a purple storm. He clenched his fist, and all the fruits burst simultaneously, their juices drawn together, condensed again and again until only one drop remained. That drop was blood red. Without hesitation, Wang Lin swallowed it. The moment it touched his tongue, his body trembled violently. The intoxicating effects of the fruit exploded within him. His mind surged with uncontainable pleasure and excitement. But instead of surrendering, he seized that ecstasy, turning it into fuel to anchor his mind. The demonic energy that had nearly torn his origin soul apart was suddenly halted. His veins bulged, his face twisted in strain, and through gritted teeth, Wang Lin growled, "Scram!" His roar was like thunder, shaking the heavens. A black shadow was forced out from his body, but halfway. It resisted, laughing madly as it tried to return. Wang Lin's fury burned. The pleasure and pain raging in his body reached their peak, merging into one explosive force. With a final, thunderous shout, "Scram!" he unleashed all his strength. The shadow was blasted free, screaming as it flew into the air. Wang Lin leapt after it, eyes bloodshot, grabbing the shadow in his hand and pouring his celestial energy into it. The black figure howled in agony, dissolving into countless black threads before reforming a short distance away, glaring at him with venomous hatred. But Wang Lin no longer cared. The energy of the celestial ascension fruit still surged inside him, pushing his mind to its absolute limit. His eyes burned crimson as he raised his pinky finger and pointed at the shadow. Underworld finger. This finger carried his life and death domain, his will, his essence, his cultivation at its peak. The heavens trembled, and the sky itself began to collapse under the power of his strike. The horned shadow screamed, trying to flee, but it was too late. The underworld finger fell. With a single deafening crack, the shadow's body shattered and vanished completely. From the distant black tower in the ancient battleground, an enraged roar echoed across the void, and a powerful demonic will burst forth, only to fade into nothingness. As the demonic prison around him dissipated, Wang Lin stood silently amidst the ruin, his hand still gripping the wrist guard. He spat out a mouthful of origin energy, sealing the object with a web of light before storing it away. Yet his ordeal was not over. The fruit's overwhelming energy still coursed through his veins, filling him with unstoppable battle intent. His eyes glowed blood red as the celestial sword returned to his hand. Shu Leguo dared not utter a sound, because in that moment, Wang Lin was like a god of war, and even demons would tremble before him. Wang Lin's eyes burned a deep blood red as he stood above the vast plain of celestial ascension fruits. The drop he had created earlier had only used a fraction of the fruits here, barely 1/10 of them. His cultivation surged, and as he reached out his hand, the ground itself trembled. The air filled with the fragrance of the purple fruits as tens of thousands of them broke free from their branches and flew toward him. Nearly 100,000 celestial ascension fruits vanished into his bag of holding. But as they disappeared, the madness within him grew uncontrollable. His battle intent boiled, and his heart was consumed by the desire to fight and kill. A sudden cold snort echoed from the void above, filled with rage and disdain. The sound struck directly into Wang Lin's mind. His vision darkened, blood sprayed from his lips, and he fell from the sky. Yet when he hit the ground, he did not retreat. He raised his head, his eyes glinting with ferocity and bloodlust. The pain only fanned the flames within him. If it had been any other day, such an attack would have driven him to flee. But now, with the celestial ascension fruit still raging in his veins, he felt no fear, only exhilaration. Madness gleamed in his gaze. He slapped his bag of holding and swallowed a large handful of pills. Then, without hesitation, he shot into the sky like a comet, heading toward the direction of the cold snort. His only thought was simple and absolute: kill. That single word echoed through his soul. The killing intent he had buried during his time as a mortal now returned in full force. Fiercer than ever before, the fiend who once made entire nations tremble had awakened once more. He flew like a blazing meteor, tearing across the heavens. Another cold snort came from the distant Black Tower, the same ancient battleground that hid his unseen enemy. This second sound was even stronger. Blood poured from Wang Lin's mouth, but instead of weakening him, it only deepened his fury. He released all 100,000 fruits from his bag. They surrounded him in a vast, purple halo. With a wave of his hand, every fruit shattered, their juices condensed and refined into one brilliant, blood-red drop. Without hesitation, Wang Lin swallowed it. The moment it touched his tongue, his body roared like thunder. His blood boiled, and his meridians burned with unbearable energy. His heart pounded as if it might burst. And yet, his battle intent climbed to terrifying heights. Then he drew out a wine jug, the same one from the cave. The one holding 10 drops of celestial liquid. Without restraint, he drank 4 drops in one gulp. The celestial liquid erupted inside him like lightning. Celestial spiritual energy surged through his body, merging with the power of the fruit until his very flesh felt as if it would tear apart. Any other cultivator would have been annihilated, but Wang Lin's body, tempered by ascension and refined by the ancient demon, endured it. He was like a storm unbound, his hair flying wildly, his aura blazing like a sun. Inside the Black Tower, a ghostly light flickered within the armor, and a voice muttered in alarm. Has he gone mad? If he truly comes here and damages the armor, it will be troublesome, but he won't make it this far. A deadly killing intent erupted from the tower and vanished into the void, racing toward Wang Lin. When the killing intent struck him, his body trembled violently, but instead of faltering, he roared. The celestial energy within him exploded outward, propelling him forward even faster. He became a living flame that refused to die. Each attempt to extinguish him only made him burn brighter. He was wounded beyond measure, blood pouring freely from his mouth. Yet his will did not waver. The combined power of the fruit and celestial liquid fueled his madness, numbing all sense of pain or fear. Die, came the furious voice from the Black Tower. Even the ancient divine sense hidden within the armor began to feel something rare, unease. The will of that ancient being had tried countless times to destroy Wang Lin. But this human would not die. Every wound only ignited his battle spirit further. At last, Wang Lin raised his hand and let out a beast-like roar that echoed across the sky. Finger of death. A wave of deathly aura swept from his body. The world itself began to decay beneath him. Trees, grass, and all vegetation withered into ash as the land died in his wake. Birds fell from the air, beasts collapsed on the ground, and the once living plain turned into a wasteland of death. The life force of everything around him transformed into glowing strands of white energy that chased after him. Merging into his body, his injuries began to heal. His origin soul, nearly broken moments ago, was reforged by the stolen vitality of the living. Far away, in the fire demon country, a man named Zi Shu led 30,000 demon soldiers across the plains. He was a peak soul transformation cultivator and one of the famed 12 swords of the Da Lu sword sect. When he saw the blazing meteor streaking across the heavens, he looked up, and his expression changed instantly. An ascendant cultivator, he muttered in shock. He ordered his army to retreat, unwilling to provoke such a being. But what he saw next chilled him. The path of the meteor was death itself. The earth beneath it crumbled and decayed wherever it passed. Still, when he saw Wang Lin cough out blood mid-flight, greed flickered in his eyes. He's injured, seriously injured. If I can kill him and refine his origin soul, my sword spirit will grow stronger. This is a chance I cannot miss. Zishu clenched his jaw and made his decision. Kill. He charged into the sky, his sword flying from his back as 30,000 demon soldiers activated their formation below. Wang Lin, sensitive to killing intent, instantly turned. His blood-red eyes locked onto Zishu and the army beneath him. His lips curled into a cruel smile. In a flash, he was gone, reappearing beside Zishu. The demon general barely had time to react before Wang Lin's hand reached out, catching his massive sword and flinging it aside. Then Wang Lin passed silently by him and tapped his shoulder. Zishu froze. His body withered in an instant, flesh and spirit alike collapsing into dust. A faint life seal rose from his remains and flew into Wang Lin's body. Without stopping, Wang Lin dove toward the army below. What followed was slaughter, pure, merciless, unstoppable slaughter. Blood dyed the land red. Souls screamed as they were ripped from their bodies and drawn into Wang Lin. By the time the massacre ended, 30,000 demon soldiers were dead. The ground was drenched in blood. Above it all, Wang Lin rose once more, his body healing rapidly from the endless vitality he had absorbed. Far away, within the ancient battleground, the divine sense inside the black armor trembled with fury and regret. This man has devoured too many celestial ascension fruits. The fruit has made him fearless of death. My attacks should have destroyed him, but they only fuel his madness. He even wields a spell that absorbs life from all living things to restore himself. If this continues, one day, he will reach me. And for the first time, the being within the Black Tower felt something it had not known for countless years: regret. Wang Lin floated high in the air, his body surrounded by waves of blood-red light. Beneath him, the withered corpse of Zishu lay lifeless, the last trace of vitality gone from his flesh. A faint golden glimmer flickered on the dead man's forehead, his origin soul completely shattered. The difference in strength had been far too great. Zishu had not even managed to unleash the sword energy gifted by his master before his death. Wang Lin's bloodshot eyes burned with madness. The celestial spiritual energy inside his body raged like a violent sea, crashing through his meridians and origin soul. The celestial ascension fruit's power and his own fury had merged into something monstrous. He was no longer a mere cultivator but a war god driven by endless killing intent. Each step he took across the sky echoed like thunder, shattering the air around him. His stride carried him swiftly through the heavens toward the ancient battleground that loomed far in the distance. Along his path, countless eyes turned to watch. Cultivators and demon generals across the fire demon country felt the oppressive aura pressing against their chests. Wang Lin ignored them all. As long as no one harbored killing intent toward him, he paid them no mind. But if anyone dared to feel even a flicker of hostility, he sensed it immediately, and they died without hesitation. Far away, on a planet called Mo, lived a powerful cultivator known as Mo Ancestor. Though his cultivation had already reached the illusory yin stage, he had been unable to enter the demon spirit land this time. Instead, his two younger disciples were sent in his stead. Now, those two young men, each dressed in gray robes, flew across the skies of the fire demon country. Suddenly, the elder of the two stopped mid-flight. His eyes widened as a suffocating aura of killing intent washed over them like a tidal wave. "Junior brother, retreat," he barked. But before they could react, a meteor-like figure tore across the horizon. The shockwave alone sent tremors through the clouds. The figure was Wang Lin, his hair flying wildly, his aura so thick with killing intent that it was like a physical storm. "An ascendant cultivator," the senior brother gasped. His junior's eyes flashed greed. "Senior brother, he's injured. If we can kill him, the treasures on his body, even his demon crystal." The senior hesitated. The suggestion was madness, but temptation gnawed at his heart. Together, the younger one urged, "We can do it." But at that moment, Wang Lin stopped midair, his body stiffened, and he slowly turned his head, His crimson eyes pierced the distance, locking onto them. His voice, low and cold, slipped from between his lips. "There is killing intent." Then he vanished. A bolt of lightning streaked across the sky. Before the two young men could flee, Wang Lin appeared beside them. His finger extended toward the junior brother's forehead. The movement smooth, calm, yet unstoppable. The young man froze, his soul trembling. That finger seemed to contain the will of heaven itself. It landed upon his brow, and in an instant, his entire body withered into a dried husk. His origin soul shattered, and his essence turned into a strand of slaughter energy that merged into Wang Lin's body. The senior brother stood frozen, horror in his eyes. Without thinking, he tore through the void, trying to teleport away. But Wang Lin raised his hand, reached into the air, and pulled him back from the void as easily as plucking a weed. "Wait, I'm Mo ancestors." He never finished the sentence. Wang Lin's hand clenched, and his body exploded into fragments of flesh. The gray mist of his life force was devoured instantly. With each death, the madness within Wang Lin grew. His eyes became even redder, his body trembling with the weight of power and fury. Then, with a sudden burst of energy, he shot forward again, straight toward the distant mountains. As he flew, the earth beneath him withered and died. Trees shriveled, grass turned to ash, and every living creature in his path, birds, beasts, and insects, fell lifeless to the ground. The very land decayed as his presence passed overhead, leaving behind a trail of desolation. Wang Lin was like a demon from hell, devouring all life to fuel his strength. His path cut across the fire demon country in a straight line of death. The people who saw him flee in terror. And soon, the royal court could no longer ignore it. The demon emperor himself ordered his forces to stop this devil. 10 demon generals and over 100,000 demon soldiers were dispatched. They set up an ambush at a place near the border between the Fire Demon Country and the Sky Demon Country, a region known as the Million Demon Mountain. The mountain was shrouded in thick fog, eternal and unmoving. On one side of it lay the Fire Demon Country's Leisure Sky City, and on the other stood the Sky Demon Country's Melting Fire City. Within Leisure Sky City, the army stood ready. The walls were lined with archers, and more than 10 demon generals watched the sky with grim faces. Among them stood a man of higher rank, a cold, middle-aged figure. He was the vice commander-in-chief of the Fire Demon Army, and his authority surpassed them all. He frowned slightly. Such a fuss over one injured cultivator. He muttered, "Let's finish this quickly." The generals nodded in agreement. "With you here, Vice Commander-in-Chief. He won't last long." Moments later, a demon general in blue armor stepped forward and saluted. "My lord, allow me, Yin Dong, to lead the assault and kill this intruder." The vice commander gave a small nod. Yin Dong grinned confidently, his armor gleaming under the dark sky. He launched himself into the air, turning into a streak of green light that shot toward Wang Lin's direction. HMPH, Yin Dong sneered as he flew. "An early-stage ascendant cultivator who's already wounded. Killing you will be simple." Ahead, Wang Lin's bloodshot eyes glowed brighter. His body trembled, and his madness grew as another wave of killing intent reached him. "Killing intent," he whispered again. Below, Yin Dong shouted, his voice empowered by demonic force. "Incomer, stop!" The roar echoed like thunder, shaking the heavens. The killing aura of 100,000 soldiers rose behind him, filling the air with the pressure of war. The vice commander-in-chief nodded slightly. Not bad. He's using aura to crush the enemy's will before the battle begins." But Yin Dong's pride was short-lived. His shout, filled with killing intent, only enraged Wang Lin further. The madness in Wang Lin's mind burned out of control. His battle spirit exploded severalfold. Without a word, Wang Lin lifted his right hand. A black light flashed at his fingertip, the finger of death. It pierced the air faster than the eye could follow. Yin Dong had no time to react. The black light struck him, and in the next instant, his body crumbled into dust. The roar of 100,000 demon soldiers died instantly. A deathly silence spread across the battlefield. The vice commander's eyes widened. For the first time, He looked at Wang Lin with genuine caution. Then came the roar. Kill! Wang Lin's voice shattered the silence. From his body burst tens of thousands of strands of slaughter energy, each one twisting and writhing like a dragon. More than 30,000 of them filled the air around him, circling his form. He stood in their midst like a true demon god descending upon the mortal world. Prepare the formation, one of the demon generals shouted in panic. Below, the 100,000 demon soldiers scrambled to form ranks. But it was too late. The 30,000 dragons of slaughter energy plunged downward. Wang Lin stood before 100,000 demon soldiers, his eyes burning with madness. Any other ascendant cultivator would have been overwhelmed by such an army. But not him. The celestial ascension fruit inside his body had ignited his origin soul, filling him with celestial spiritual energy and driving his killing intent to its limit. His celestial slaughter art demanded blood and battle. And now, surrounded by countless enemies, he was like a god of war descending upon the battlefield. As the demonic army roared and charged, their combined demonic energy surged into the sky, merging into the form of a massive black scorpion. Its venomous tail glimmered with power strong enough to tear through space itself. On the distant city wall, a middle-aged commander's face turned grim. With a sharp command, he ordered his demon generals to strike and end Wang Lin's rampage. More than 10 demon generals burst forward, their killing intent locking onto him. Wang Lin's expression remained cold. He raised his right hand and extended his pinky finger, his underworld finger. Instantly, thunder rumbled through the heavens. Lightning flashed across the clouds as the world itself seemed to tremble. A colossal river materialized in midair, murky, endless, filled with severed limbs, drifting bones, and countless ghostly faces. It was a river of death, the Underworld River. When Wang Lin's finger descended, the river obeyed his command. Waves of deathly water surged downward, engulfing the demon generals. Ghostly wails filled the air as countless souls reached out from the water's depths, dragging everything living into the underworld. The sky dimmed, the earth shook, and the boundary between life and death blurred. This river was Wang Lin's greatest comprehension, his own creation after 10 years of enlightenment. During that decade, as his origin soul fused with his domain, he had glimpsed the mysteries of life and death, of reincarnation itself. From that understanding, he had created his own cycle of reincarnation, one not bound by the heavens. Now, that comprehension had come alive. The river did not belong to the world, it belonged to Wang Lin alone. As the demon generals struggled within the river, their combined power shook the waters. But the moment Wang Lin's figure stepped into the Underworld River, everything stabilized. The waves grew calm, and his cold voice echoed through the heavens. Those who seek my death shall be trapped within my Underworld River. This is my own reincarnation cycle, one not controlled by the heavens. His Tao spread through the water, fusing with it until the river itself became his will. The Underworld River rolled back into the void, taking with it the trapped demon generals, erased from existence. The black scorpion formed by the demon soldiers collapsed as slaughter energy surged across the battlefield. Tens of thousands of strands of demonic energy turned gray and rushed toward Wang Lin, wrapping around him like a cloak of death. The sight was terrifying. He stood alone, draped in ghostly mist, like the embodiment of destruction itself. On the wall, the middle-aged commander's face turned pale. His hands trembled as he whispered in horror. Impossible. He's only an ascendant cultivator. Yet he's created his own underworld river. He's reached the second step, the edge of the heavens Tao. Fear consumed him. The confidence he had before vanished completely. Though they shared the same cultivation level, Wang Lin's comprehension of Tao had far surpassed his. Even wounded, Wang Lin now seemed untouchable. Divine. Desperate to survive, the commander crushed a black beast bone in his hand. Black mist surrounded him, forming a teleportation shield that whisked him away toward the Fire Demon country's capital. But as he vanished, Wang Lin waved his hand. The 100,000 demon soldiers burst apart, transforming into strands of pure slaughter energy. Combined with the earlier energy, 130,000 strands of killing intent streaked through the sky, chasing after the fleeing commander. In the Fire Demon country's capital, Within the sacred teleportation array, a steward was calmly cultivating. He sensed the array activate and smiled, expecting the return of a high-ranking commander. But when he turned, his smile froze. From the glowing array fell not a living man, but a dried corpse. The body was that of the vice commander, eyes still open in disbelief. Moments later, the furious roar of the fire demon country's demon emperor shook the capital. "Find the one who did this. I don't care who he is, kill him." Meanwhile, far from the city, WANG LIN continued to advance. His body was overflowing with celestial power, his killing intent surging like a storm. Instead of calming, his battle spirit only grew stronger. He was a meteor of blood and fury, rushing toward the source of the mysterious divine sense that had attacked him days ago. Within the ancient battleground, deep inside the Black Tower, ghostly lights flickered once more inside the ancient armor. Before it knelt an old man dressed in black, the one who had once saved Hu Pao. A tired divine voice echoed from the armor. "I will grant you 3 pieces of the demonic armor. Stop him. Do not let him set foot upon this battleground." 3 armor pieces, wrist guard, chest plate, and shoulder guard, flew out, turning into black threads that pierced the old man's flesh. The armor reformed upon his body, radiating monstrous devilish energy. From that energy, a horned shadow appeared, the same as the devil WANG LIN had once slain. The illusion sank into the old man's forehead, and his screams of agony filled the tower. When the pain finally subsided, his eyes glowed red with devilish light. "This devil servant obeys," he whispered. "Go," the tired divine voice commanded. The old man stepped out of the tower, gazing into the distance. Then he raised his hand and shouted, "Demon guardians, come forth." The ancient battleground trembled. A freezing demonic wind rose and coalesced into a female warrior clad in armor, Demon Guardian Windsong. Behind her, the ground erupted as another figure emerged, crawling like a beast. His dark body radiated pure earth energy. "Demon Guardian Earth Devil, present," he roared. Then, the sky darkened. Hundreds of millions of soul fragments gathered, forming a massive black cloud. Beneath it walked a young man with cold eyes and a suffocating aura. The souls screamed behind him like a storm. He raised his head and spoke in a low, grim tone. "Demon Guardian Hu Pao, present." WANG LIN raced across the barren wasteland, his blood-red eyes filled with nothing but madness and the desire to kill. The power of the celestial ascension fruit had completely taken over his mind, amplifying his awareness and pushing his instincts to their absolute limit. His killing intent surged like a storm, and his body moved with unstoppable ferocity as he charged through the desolate land filled with cracked earth and the stench of decay. Suddenly, the ground beneath him erupted, with a deafening series of explosions. Massive spikes of yellow earth shot upward, slicing through the air like deadly spears. In an instant, countless more followed, surrounding him from all sides. But WANG LIN didn't flinch. The celestial spiritual energy inside his body whirled violently, forming a vortex that shattered every spike around him into dust. From the shattered earth, a black figure leapt out. It was a thin old man, his skin dark and his body twisted like a wild beast. Crouched on all fours, he licked his lips and stared at WANG LIN with cruel anticipation. Without hesitation, WANG LIN raised his right hand and pressed his thumb forward, the finger of death. A streak of black light shot through the air, filled with the power of death itself. But the old man only grinned. Behind him appeared a massive, sickly-looking cocoon, covered in bulging pustules. As he opened his mouth, a second, monstrous mouth appeared on the cocoon. It inhaled sharply and swallowed the black light whole. The pustules on the cocoon burst open, releasing foul, bubbling liquid that dripped to the ground. The old man reached out, gathering the thick pus into his palm, and sneered. "Your spell was delicious," he hissed. "Allow me to return the favor." He hurled the pus onto the ground, and in the blink of an eye, the entire area trembled. The foul liquid seeped into the earth, spreading outward until the ground itself began to ooze. Within moments, a massive wall of pus rose up, sealing WANG LIN inside a shrinking sphere. The old man stepped back, confident and calm. "Heaven pus and earth sore. Let's see you survive this," he laughed. A cold wind swept across the wasteland, and from the mist appeared a woman clad in armor, with strange tattoos running across her face. Her expression was emotionless as she spoke. "If this man could die so easily, our master wouldn't have sent us." The old man snorted. "Then watch closely, he'll die soon enough." But before he could finish, the sphere of pus suddenly stopped shrinking. A chilling wave of killing intent burst out from within, freezing the air itself. Then, a deep rumbling filled the sky as sword energy exploded outward, tearing the sphere in half. From within the collapsing sphere, 3 weapons emerged: a shining celestial sword, a dark sword possessed by a devilish ram soul, and a half-moon blade that gleamed with deadly light. Behind them walked WANG LIN. His crimson eyes glowed fiercely, and the aura of battle and slaughter radiated from him like a storm of death. The old man's heart trembled. "That gaze, it's terrifying," he thought. Before he could react, the 3 weapons shot forward, their combined power slicing through the air. The woman, Wind Song, instantly vanished into thin air, but the half-moon blade followed her, its blade song echoing through the sky. The clash of metal and power rippled across the battlefield. Meanwhile, the old man summoned his power once again. "Earth soar," he shouted. The ground around him cracked and pulsed, forming rings of festering sores that spread outward. With a sharp cry, he commanded, "Explode!" The sores erupted violently, releasing waves of corrosive pus that blasted across the battlefield. But before he could celebrate, the celestial sword, controlled by Shu Leguo's mischievous spirit, darted toward him. "Old fool," Shu Leguo cursed. "Go blow yourself up." The old man reached out to grab the sword barehanded, confident in his strength, but the moment his fingers brushed the blade, horror filled his eyes. The sword's energy was far beyond what he had imagined. He tried to retreat, but the celestial sword pursued relentlessly, while the devil ram sword arched around to strike from behind. In the chaos, WANG LIN floated above, calm and merciless. With a single step, he tore through space, appearing directly over the old man. His right hand reached forward, summoning countless strands of slaughter energy that shot into the illusionary cocoon still hovering behind the old man. Then, with one powerful pull, WANG LIN tore it apart. The cocoon ripped open with a wet, tearing sound. He flung it aside, and as it flew through the air, it exploded, showering the battlefield in putrid liquid. A figure was forced out from the blast, Wind Song, her pale face splattered with blood. Her silver dagger flashed as she blocked the incoming half-moon blade. But the impact drove her back several steps. She gritted her teeth, fury and disbelief filling her eyes. The old man, now drenched in blood, screamed in despair. WANG LIN's right thumb pressed down once more, the finger of death struck again. The black light pierced the air and shot straight through the old man's mouth, ripping his soul apart. Wind Song, seeing the old man fall, turned into a gust of wind and lunged toward WANG LIN's back. But WANG LIN, acting on instinct, reached into his bag of holding and pulled out the soul lasher. A whip so dark it seemed to drink the light around it. With a crack like thunder, the whip lashed out. Wind Song's scream echoed through the wasteland as she was struck in the face, the whip leaving a deep, bloody mark. Her body was thrown from the void, and for the first time, fear appeared in her eyes. She no longer wanted to fight, she only wanted to escape. But WANG LIN's body moved on pure instinct, his bloodlust controlling every action. He raised his palm and pressed downward. A massive, ancient handprint appeared in the air, the same nameless palm that had once terrified even the mighty Mo Lihai. The palm print swept forward, its slaughter energy roaring like thunder. It caught Wind Song as she fled, and before she could even scream, her body erupted into a cloud of blood and mist. The wind settled. WANG LIN stood silently, his long hair drifting in the breeze. His 3 weapons hovered before him, gleaming faintly in the dying light. Behind him lay nothing but destruction, shattered earth, torn flesh, and the remains of 2 powerful demon guardians reduced to dust. In this episode, we see WANG LIN's journey descend into chaos and bloodshed as the effects of the celestial ascension fruit push him to the brink of madness. His mind becomes consumed by killing intent, And every step he takes radiates the power of a man standing between divinity and destruction. From the endless wastelands to the heart of the Demon Mountain, Wang Lin faces twisted beings born from filth and illusion, powerful foes who underestimate his unyielding will. Through battles that shake heaven and earth, he tears through traps of pus and poison, crushes demonic illusions, and meets every ambush with merciless precision. Each strike, each spell, reveals how far he has ascended, and how dangerously close he stands to losing himself completely. By the end, drenched in blood and surrounded by the remnants of his enemies, Wang Lin walks forward once more, led only by instinct and fury. His power has reached new heights. But so too has the darkness within him. The path ahead grows even more uncertain, and the true cost of his cultivation is yet to be revealed.